Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Checkride Chat. My name is Wally,
I'm Jason.
and we are continuing our dive into the ACS. We are on the last task in the ground portion of the Checkride, and this is human factors. We're on task H, human factors. Um, you know, I'm not going to say this is a new thing, but I would say when I was hired at my first major airline, which was 1987, almost 39 years ago, the whole human factors thing was kind of a new thing. I mean, I think the concept of the airlines back in the 70s is let's train our pilots to never make mistakes, and we kept crashing airplanes. And so I think the philosophy became, okay, we're humans, we're going to make mistakes, so maybe let's learn how to manage our mistakes.
Fix mistakes.
Maybe
repair.
Yeah, repair mistakes. Maybe figure out what the mistakes may be before you even go. In other words, let's look at the threats and everything. So, Jason, I mean, nowadays the airlines, we don't do much with human factors, do we?
Oh my goodness, that's a silly statement right there.
Yeah, we have a
we've gone to the point of we take personality tests.
Yeah.
So you are self-aware of your type of personality, and hopefully you can figure out the other person's personality and how to deal with conflict, how to get along, how to diffuse conflict, how to all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
It's going next level.
Yeah.
And it all folds underneath the CRM concept.
Yeah. Which is crew resource management, CRM. We have a human factors team at United Airlines.
Mm-hmm.
We have a whole department. You can one wing of our training center deals with human factors. So that's again, that's task H of the ACS, and again we're looking at the private pilot, but it's the same for a commercial. All this is going to be covered. So how do you handle a lot of these human factors type things on your check rides, Jason?
It's again, some of the systems questions can directly and actually, in fact, systems questions do lead into that. Hypoxia is one of them. I'll ask about oxygen.
Right.
And yes, I'm aware there's 4 types of hypoxia, but my point is, what's the most common for a pilot? I'm assuming it's going to be the lack of oxygen. When do you need oxygen, et cetera, et cetera. So that got hit. I'll ask about, I think in one of the previous sections on the systems, it's de-icing and anti-icing. I'll ask about anti-icing equipment. And they'll come in and they'll say carb heat, and they'll do this, and they'll do that, anything else. And so, well, I like to stay warm too. So they'll say cabin heat. What is a threat with the cabin heat?
Right.
That goes into carbon monoxide poisoning.
Right.
And then another, it just organically, kind of like you, it's not, I specifically hit this, and this, but another one that I ask is ask it on a sectional. It's more of an easy one. It's what's all this yellow stuff? Like, oh, it's densely populated, or that's what it looks like at night. That's the cities. And I'm like, all right, I'll take that. So how do you know, how can you find an airport at night then? What are you looking for? Oh, the beacon. So then I'll ask about the beacon, and this will come up to optical illusions and nighttime illusions. So it kind of naturally unfolds.
Yeah. I would think with mine, and it sounds like with yours, it's all integrated. I know when I was hired at Continental Airlines in 1987, we did our 2 weeks of systems ground school. You did do 2 weeks in a fixed base trainer, then you basically did 2 weeks in a simulator.
Did Dan Cook teach yours too?
Dan Cook, no.
Short ball dude.
No.
All right.
No.
Okay.
No. But somewhere in all that, we had this 2-day class called CCC. That's what we called it back in the days. It was called Crew Coordinations Concepts. And the buzzword around the place was it was charm school.
Mm-hmm.
And it was how to tell your fellow pilot that he's screwing up without pissing him off. It was kind of the nutshell of it. But it was very segregated. It wasn't really incorporated in the day-to-day training of our pilots, and we've come a long way, because now it's incorporated every day. Wouldn't you say so?
It is. And so if you're looking at the ACS, I'm looking at it now. The CRM concept, the CCC, is it really hypoxia, hyperventilation? No, it's down one. It's into the risk management. It's aeromedical and physiological issues. It's the hazardous attitudes, distractions, loss of SA. Because humans make mistakes, we have to correct mistakes. And what Wally was talking about, how to tell your colleague that they're messing up politely, an older attitude back in the day was the captain was king.
Yeah.
You were not allowed to question the captain. So a lot of these human factor, the stuff that we go through in CRM now, that is, it's enabling the first officers, the IROs, the bunkies, whatever you want to call them. It's enabling all the other pilots in the crew. It gives them authority to speak up and query, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Right. So that's kind of all part of it. But that's airliney, and this is private pilot. So we're coming kind of full circle. But if you're trying to go career airlines, this is start now, and this is you've had a bad instructor. How did you cope with that?
Yeah.
It's how do you deal with pressure in the cockpit? How do you let people influence you? Do you let people pressure you? Those are the whole external factor attitudes. Do we have to get home? You might just want to get a hotel instead of flying through that level 4 thunderstorm.
Yeah.
Because the Cessnas aren't really kind of built for that.
Absolutely.
You can't really go around it because it's going to take you 8 days.
Absolutely.
But hypoxia, what about hypoxia? There's 4 types. You can give us definitions, and it's an awareness thing at the private level. How would you become hypoxic? How do you get that? Hyperventilation, what is that? And funnily enough, a lot of people mix up hypoxia, lack of oxygen, with hyperventilation, too much oxygen.
Yeah.
Know how to fix it. Just the whole, you're hyperventilating, you're freaking out. Get a paper bag.
Yeah.
Please don't get a plastic bag.
All right.
Get a paper bag. Middle ear and sinus problems. Okay, this is easy. If you're sick, don't go to work. Don't go fly.
Yeah.
Altitude messes you up.
It does. I remember as a private pilot, I remember we owned a Cherokee 140, and it was the airplane was a piece of junk. But anyway, my family owned it.
And CCC came through right
yeah,
there. Piece
yeah.
of junk, huh? Got it.
Yeah, and I remember one day I needed to fly it over to an avionics shop, and I can remember it was winter time. I had a cold. I shouldn't have been flying, but hey, I didn't think about that. I remember landing at the airport and thinking to myself how smooth the engine and this airplane sounded. I had never heard it like that and everything. I just thought I was really proud of our airplane.
Probably couldn't hear anything, could you?
I couldn't hear a thing. And then as we're taxiing in, all of a sudden, pow! My ear pops, and all of a sudden I start hearing blah, 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 blah of the engine, and I went, whoa, that wasn't good. Maybe I shouldn't have been flying. But
Middle ear and sinus problems was the original ANR.
Right.
So that's where Bose got their concept.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Spatial disorientation, what's that?
Well, yeah, I mean, and we deal with that with, you put yourself under the hood, and we talked about a little bit in the systems, talking about maybe losing a vacuum pump, and we're talking about flying at night, maybe night VFR, losing a vacuum pump, and how dangerous that could be.
Oh yeah.
Following the instrument that is not working properly. But
or forgetting you have instruments, and
yes.
That spatial disorientation,
Yes.
optical illusions, kind of go hand in hand. Be aware of those. right?
And we've all experienced it. Maybe as a kid, you played the game where you put your head down on a bat and you know run around in circles, and you put the bat down and try to run
I
to
can't
the
do
other
that
end of the
anymore.
field.
I don't make it, but with the kids,
Yeah.
it's amazing what
Yeah.
they can do
Yeah.
and what I used to be able to do, but
Right.
ooh, not
Right.
no more.
Oh, I don't like. I used to be the daring ride person at all the amusement parks, but now I really have to. Oh man, that ride drops. I don't think I want to do that one.
The drops we went to London over Thanksgiving, and I went on a ride with my daughter, and my wife she's not doing it, so she's watching me, and apparently my facial expressions, I was all like yeah, and then towards the end of the ride I'm like, get me off of this thing.
Yeah. What about motion sickness? You ever have anybody get sick on a check ride?
I've when I was doing heavy instruction, I had a lot of discovery flights got sick.
Yeah.
But not so much. I think at a Checkride, they've gotten sick, but it maybe it was motion sickness, but most of the time it was nerves they didn't eat type thing, and they kind of did it to themselves.
Yeah.
So that's I used to get motion sickness as a kid. I grew up in England. And I don't know, it still messes with me if I'm in the back seat of a car. I don't know what it is, but there's something about back seat of a car in England. It messes me up.
Really?
I do not know why.
Wow.
Even on the crew van, I got to go sit up in the front seat. It's really weird.
It just in England or everywhere?
No, it's just I don't know. Maybe because there's not a lot of air conditioning. It's hot. That's funny. This is all backside of the clock. I'm zonked by the time we land.
Yeah, I've had probably 3 or 4 get sick on check rides. So I do carry 6-sack bags in my flight bag, and
I used to carry big old hefty bags.
Yeah,
like big trash bags. Just throw their head in it if they were gonna throw it. That was a flight instructor thing.
Yeah, and some of the 6-sack bags aren't very. They don't hold a lot of volume.
I think it's funny, the sick bags on the airlines. It's really that's it.
Yeah.
So
and the people I've had get sick on check rides. I had one guy. I think it was a private check ride. We had about 2 landings to go, and I looked over at him, and his color didn't look right. I said, "Are you about to get sick?" He said, "I think I am." I gave him the 6-sack, and he did his thing, and he said, "Well, I guess we're done." I said, "Well, I'm okay if you want to finish." I said, "Your call. We've got 2 2 landings to finish. We can discontinue and come back another day, or we can finish right now." And he said, "Well, let's finish right now." And
he got it out.
We finished, and I when we got in there and landed, he was a little bit embarrassed. I said, "Look, this check ride
happens."
I said, "It's like Vegas. What happens in here stays in here." If I said, "If you want to tell people that you got sick on your check ride, you go for it, but they're not going to hear it from me."
After unusual attitudes, I've had 2. Like, can we just fly straight and level for a couple minutes to kind of settle? So it's happened.
And what I will do with instrument applicants on check rides, it's fatiguing, and it's tough to be under that hood for that long. So maybe in between a couple of the approaches, I'll say take the hood off and let's just fly, and that seems to help them, and especially in summertime when it's hot. Which it's hot down here in the summertime.
So on that note, take the foggles off and fly. Yeah, that's actually a great idea, and it adds to that spatial disorientation. The optical illusions. You're not seeing anything under the hood, but the disorientation, and just I think most people, when you're learning instruments, the hood goes on, and it's mental fatigue, right?
Absolutely.
The second you take that hood off, just this layer of stress just goes away.
Yes.
Just everything is just normal again.
Yes.
Right? And that's all part of this.
Yeah.
It's all learning to trust your instruments, but you might be all over the place. And the second you take your foggles off, you're able to instantly correct it, because that's where you're comfortable with. You just need to see stuff.
Yeah,
that's why we're training.
I did some instrument training with both of my daughters, and with both of them, what I would do is we would go out and we would do 3 approaches when we go do a training flight, but we do the same approach 3 times, and you're thinking, well, I'm not sure what good that does, but what we would do And this worked for my daughters. What we do is we do the second approach without the hood on. So they did it one time under the hood. Second time we do it not under the hood. Third time back under the hood. By the time we do the approach the third time, they sort of had the approach memorized. They knew all the things, and it really just reinforced the learning. It worked with us. So as double I's, you're doing instrument training, I would I be aware. Look at your student. Look at the fatigue level, because if you're flying for maybe an hour and a half, hour 20, and the last 20 minutes your student is just not getting anything, what's the point? So,
there comes fatigue is set in, and it's just at that point you're just burning gas.
Going back to the motion sickness, if you are someone who is prone to motion sickness, don't just give up and say, hey, my career is a pilot.
Agree. You do get used to it. You get much better at it.
Yes. And there are some things, supposedly, I think I read where spearmint is supposed to be real good, whether it's a mint or chewing gum or something. I have been known to use peppermint oil. I dab it on your finger and then you rub it under your nose, and it seems to kind of settle a stomach. Not that, luckily, it's been a while since I've gotten sick on an airplane, but it is a bad feeling. Very bad feeling.
It's very new age of you, Wally.
Oh yeah, it is. And you know what? It's good for porta potties. You got to go. You're at a state fair and you got to go in a porta potty.
Right.
You rub that peppermint on you and it smells good in there.
There
it's
you
all
go.
good. It's all good.
Woo. So I will say, and on Wally's note, we'll move on after this. But I gave a discovery flight to a girl. And we were cleaning the plane after that flight.
Yeah.
But I trained her for a private. She's a CFI II MEI. So yeah, it's absolutely doable.
Yeah.
So what's next? Carbon monoxide poisoning. How do you get it? How do you get it? It's going to come from the heater. From the heater. It's going to come from, and the heater is what? The heater is the exhaust.
Yeah.
Right? So there's a little bit of system, like how do we do that?
Yeah.
Right? So it's a relatively simple one. However, on the carbon monoxide poisoning, that is, what do you do? So obviously get rid of the source. So turn it off. Open a window, crack a door, do your little storm window and a piper on the side. Basically, at that point, just simply try to dilute the air. And a follow-on question, I said, well, would you land? And some people would say, I know, but I keep going. And I'm like, all right, you are lightheaded, you have a headache, your fingertips are blue, you turned off the heater, you figured it out, you turned off the heater, you opened the window, would you continue? And about half the time, they'll say, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I can't tell you what to do. Every human body is different, but I would encourage you to land and get on the ground. You were probably minutes away from passing out.
Yeah.
You have no idea how far along you are.
Yeah.
I would probably get on the ground, and if you really want to be cautious, I would probably get to the hospital.
Yeah.
That is bad juju.
A little bit like saying, oh man, I have chest pains. The pain was radiating down my left arm. I had trouble breathing, but I'm good now.
Yeah, you might want to go get checked
I
out.
want to go get checked out.
So
absolutely.
it again can't tell you what to do, but it is your life worth 30 minutes? No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stress is a whole this is going back to the I'm safe checklist.
Yeah.
You need to be in the right mindset when you are flying an airplane. It is not worth pushing that envelope.
Yeah.
Yes, I understand you're most likely a little stressed because it's a check ride.
Yeah.
Can you say that's a good stress? I don't know. I think that's dependent on the person also.
Yeah.
But what we're talking about, if you're stressed financially, emotionally, whatever it might be, that's maybe you shouldn't be taking this flight today.
Yeah. At our airline, we have for instructors and evaluators, we have a form that we fill out if someone is unsatisfactory in a training event or a checking event called an additional training report.
And it asks
we
about
ask,
all of that.
We ask,
family events,
you know.
hotel, anything,
Yeah.
sick.
Or any, I think the way it's worded, are any outside influences
Yep.
affecting your ability to perform? And back when I was doing check rides for United or Continental, I mean, I would have people say, yeah, well, my wife is going in for cancer surgery tomorrow.
You
and
should
you just
not
want
be
to say,
here
why are
right
you
now."
here? Go home and take care of your family. When you're ready to come back and fly airplanes, come on back. Yeah.
Yep. Fatigue, that's an easy one. I'll say that it's not necessarily stress causes fatigue. So fatigue is just you're simply tired. Whatever is making you tired, your reaction times are much slower when you're fatigued. You don't see as clear when you're fatigued.
Yeah.
So if you're behind the power curve, let's maybe not go fly 3 hours in the middle of the night.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just that's probably not smart.
Yeah.
Dehydration and nutrition. Diet matters. Water matters.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a tough one because what goes in
Must
must
come
come
out.
out.
The first rule of little airplane flying is never pass up a bathroom.
Yes.
Even if you can squeak out an ounce,
Yeah.
that might save 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So stay hydrated. The jets on our at the airline, we operate at I guess a 7.8's a lot better, but our normal cabin is around 7,000 feet, and it's dry. It is incredibly dry. So in our pilot contract, we get at least I want to say at least 1, maybe 2 bottles of water per flight, like liter bottles of water.
Yeah.
That's simply for crew member health,
Yeah.
I guess you could say.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hypothermia. Well, we're in Texas.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's cold,
Right.
but we got that heater.
Yeah.
I don't know where to go with that.
Yeah. I don't either. I'll tell you.
Wear a jacket, wear some gloves.
I'll tell you a funny story about that. So I was in a situation where a flight school put a new engine on a twin engine airplane, and I happened to be around, and the chief flight instructor was gonna he needed to do the break-in flight, and I didn't have anything to do. He said, "Hey, you want to go with me?" I said, "Sure." So, and it was cold. We were in a cold spell in Texas. And he was of the mindset, anyway, we take off, and he was in the mindset that in a twin engine airplane, whatever you do, you don't ever turn on the heater because it's a janitorial heater, you're starting a fire, and it's the airplane's going to blow up, and we're all going to die. It's kind of his mindset. And I didn't know this when we took off. I use the heaters in these airplanes all the time.
I was going to say, I'm not an engineer, but I'm pretty sure that's not how that works.
Yeah. Anyway, so we take off, we're heading out, and we've got to operate this new engine at a certain power setting for, the flight needed to be about a 2-hour flight, I think. And we are 30 minutes into the flight, and I just finally said to him, I says, look, you got 2 choices. Either we're going to turn the heater on, or we're going to start cuddling. And I says, because I am dying over here. And thank goodness he says, well, I'll try the heater. And he flips it on, and within about 90 seconds, he goes, man, that feels really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels really good.
Yeah, no kidding.
And we haven't blown up. So anyway.
Yep. Optical illusions, that could organically come from your cross country, the scenario that we give you, looking at the sectional, where are we flying, what can you expect to see, what are optical illusions. It's super bright lights, it's a narrow runway, what does that do? So various optical illusions, and it's good to kind of know that. If it's bright lights or it's a narrow runway, what does that make it? It makes you think you're bright lights, you're much closer. So hence, that's why you can go high, medium, low on lighting intensities on a runway if it's pilot controlled. And if it's not pilot controlled and it's too bright, just ask them, can you turn the lights down? Yeah, no problem. The tower will do it for you. It's not a biggie. but just be aware of that. The next one is scuba diving.
Yeah.
So I get it. You're not supposed to dive and fly within 24 hours is what's coming to mind. You cannot go scuba diving and then go fly because nitrogen builds up in the blood, the nitrogen expands, then it gives you what's called the bends.
Yeah.
I've also heard people apparently you can fly and then dive.
Yeah, I think so.
I've never heard people object to that.
Right.
But diving and flying, you want that nitrogen to kind of dissolve and get out of your body. I heard that hurts.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not a scuba diver. It's one of those things I'd love to do someday, but I haven't done it yet. I did one time in a guy's pool. I went down to about 6 feet. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Moving on, Wally.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alcohol and drugs.
Come on, don't do it. And Nancy Reagan used to say, just say no. It's illegal. It's a bad situation.
Drugs bad. Alcohol. What's
Yeah.
the time frame? How many hours?
It says 8 hours, but
Is it really worth it?
it's probably
That's kind of how we look at it.
Yeah. I'll give a scenario. I will say to the applicant, I say, okay, it's you're leaving at 10 a.m. tomorrow. It's 6 p.m. tonight. You meeting a high school friend at a local Mexican restaurant. You haven't seen him or her in 15 years. Before you can even, you go and you sit down at the table and the waitress just shows up with 2 margaritas that your friend ordered from you. Can you drink it?
I hate tequila. So
yeah.
That's an easy one.
And the answer is, and everybody's answer is a little bit differently, and it actually opens up a little bit of dialogue to really talk about this. And it gives us the opportunity to go different directions.
Just be smart.
Yeah, be smart. Absolutely.
That's the takeaway. Just be smart.
Absolutely.
FAA is 8 hours. I think United is it 12 or 18 for us?
I think it's 12.
So that's contractual. That has nothing to do with the FAA. That is a United thing that they've bumped that rule up.
Yeah.
And that's what we have to comply with because it's contractual.
Yeah. And there's some if you have an alcohol or drug related conviction, that does need to get reported to the FAA, and there's all kinds of extra things that are not very conducive to a smooth career.
The takeaway on that is just it's easy to say use your head.
Yeah.
I think just a little bit of planning on that goes a long way, and that it goes back up to some of the previous stuff. If you made a bad decision and you've been out drinking all night, well, maybe don't take the 10 a.m. flight. Maybe let's push that back to that afternoon or hell the next morning.
Yeah.
Just is it really worth moreover your career, but potentially more than that? What if something very, very bad happens?
Have you ever had the opportunity to give a check ride to somebody who is reacquiring their certificates or ratings?
Because of it, not yet.
Yeah. I have, and I've done it twice to two different gentlemen, and they were both very, very open about their situation. What happens with the FAA if you get if you get tested positive, you lose all your pilot certificates. You lose everything. Now you can get them back, and the FAA will let you keep your time.
Time is time, but you have to retake every single check ride and written test. Yeah.
You have. So the first thing you do is you go take your private pilot written, then you take a private pilot check ride, then you take your instrument written, and your instrument check ride.
Yep.
And the gentleman the last one I did, he made the decision to he worked for an airline. He retired. And he owned an airplane. He says, all I need is an instrument rating. So he wasn't going anywhere beyond that.
Yeah.
So it's a hassle.
Effects of alcohol, drugs, and over-the-counter meds, along with the very next line is ADM, which is aeronautical decision making. So, drugs mess you up. Alcohol, messes you up. And when it's talking about over-the-counter meds, that could be as simple as sleep pills,
Yeah.
NyQuil,
Yeah.
things like that. It's Tylenol, anything that makes you drowsy.
Yeah.
There's rules to that. And here's a plug for AOPA. I've been a member since I was, I think, a student pilot, so
Yep.
from 2001. Keep in mind what you think is. This is just, again, it's a resource, is where I mentioned in AOPA. What you think is harmless might be on kind of the no-fly list.
Yeah.
Or what you allergy medicines. If you live in the South, oh my goodness.
Benadryl is the big one. Benadryl.
So if Zyrtec,
Yeah.
Zyrtec's, I think you can take one every 7 days, and you can't fly for 24 hours or something to that effect. These are all the little sub rules that you simply may not know about. And yes, you can call your AME, but I guess good luck getting them on the phone.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Everybody says, I'll ask, well, suppose you want to take this drug. Well, yeah, how could you find out? Well, I'll call my AME.
A way easier resource is spend the $60 a year on AOPA and call them with any single question you have, whether it's medicine, legal, any type of aviation question. Those guys and girls at AOPA are awesome. I don't think I've ever been on hold longer than 90 seconds.
Yeah.
Those guys are awesome.
Yeah.
That's all I can say about that. I love
Right,
them.
right.
So verify that if you're unsure of, can I take this with this? Can I take this while flying? If I take this, how does this affect, when can I fly next?
Yeah.
So it's an awareness aspect.
Yeah.
We've already kind of done the physiological issues. Hazardous attitudes, distractions, that's the hazardous attitudes. Machismo, denial, that's a hazardous attitude. That's a little FOI stuff coming in. It's always somebody else's fault, always blaming others. It's the airplane can't hold altitude.
Yeah.
It's I'm better than this weather, etc. This weather is not affecting me. Do you have any experience in this weather? Let's get into this one. I have an autopilot.
Oh gosh.
I love that one.
Wow. Yeah.
So you're saying you wouldn't fly in that airplane without an autopilot in this weather, but because you have an autopilot, that makes you equipped to fly in this weather in this airplane. It's not the autopilot, it's still the pilot.
Right.
So autopilots are awesome until they're not. Autopilots enable you to manage the flight deck.
Yeah.
But as with anything mechanical, stuff can fail and break.
It can.
So just keep that snippet in the back of your hand. And I have this little phrase is autopilots are black and white. There is no gray.
That's true.
Every single accident that has involved, whether it's when automation was new, every single one of them started with the question, what's it doing now?
Yep.
And the answer, honestly, is exactly what you told it to do.
Yeah.
There is no interpretation when it comes to an auto. So
right.
If you have an autopilot, I would encourage you to honestly go get trained on the different functionalities of it.
Yeah.
And then just because you have an autopilot, don't lose that stick and rudder skill.
Yeah.
Try to hand fly. Fine, use the flight director, but still hand fly. Get that feel.
Yeah.
So because one day it's not going to work, and you're still going to need to know what to do.
Yeah. The joke was, what's it doing now? That when I first went to the 737 was when we just started getting the new generation 737s. And that was almost every flight. Someone would say, what's it doing now? Or why is it doing that? And if the airplane's not doing what you want it to do, then start shedding automation and make the airplane do what you want it to do.
Get rid of the automation and then slowly re-implement automation after you've stabilized the airplane.
Right. Right.
So there's your autopilot plug. Don't get me wrong, I love autopilots. And then the bottom part is just, it's how many you have to do. And then the last part is perform self-assessment. So before any flight, before any check ride, this is the self-assessment. That is the I'm safe, right? So verify you. That should be the first. A lot of people will start like, oh, the weather's good, the plane's good, but a lot of people just, they probably think about it, but they just gloss over the self-assessment.
Yeah.
There's a major push to go back to I'm safe. Yeah. It's not just cough, sick. There's many other factors going in on this.
And we're not just talking about check rides. We're talking about real world flights. I mean, we happen to be examiners, and we named our channel Checkride Chat, right? But we're talking about real world flights. And again, we are using the ACS, which is designed towards a check ride. But I have. Do you charge your applicants before you see them, Jason?
No.
Or a check ride? No. So if you call in sick for a check ride, it doesn't cost you a dime. Okay.
I'd rather you call in sick. You're not feeling it. I'd rather you cancel.
Absolutely.
Don't push it.
Absolutely.
I would rather you be good and ready to start and go through and finish the ride than I think I can do it. I think I can muscle through this.
Right.
It's not even worth it. Just reschedule and rebook.
Right. We both had a canceled check ride this morning.
Today,
due to high winds. We both had commercial single engine check rides, and we had winds that were forecast to be gusting in the 20s, and both applicants, I think, made the right call, and
I'm rebooked with him for tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
And it is what it is.
Yeah.
So, but that was a wind thing. That was your external. That was the environmental aspect of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why? I get it, but why tempt Providence? Why?
And I will have a lot of applicants say to me, as we're trying to, or he or she is trying to make the decision whether they're going to take the check ride, they'll throw in there, well, when can you get me in? And I will say that shouldn't be anywhere in the decision-making process. Don't base on whether we're gonna, either you're good to go based on everything, or you're not good to go. So let's not say, when can you get me in? So.
And I think we're on the same. I don't book out weeks and weeks and weeks.
Right.
It's just with weather, with a work schedule, it's simply not worth it.
Yeah.
So my answer to that would be not too far away, maybe next week.
Yeah.
Right. It's none of this. 3 months from now because I'm booked. I have heard that exists.
Right. So anyway, so we with today's episode, we are done with the oral. At this point, we would. And again, we said this earlier, but we've got probably about, 7-8 hours worth of content talking about the oral. Please don't think that our
it's an hour and a half.
90 minutes.
We went through every aspect of every part of the ACS, and that is not a check ride. A check ride is one knowledge, one risk, all skill.
Yeah.
Unless it's on your written, and then we kind of have to cover that.
Right.
Which that might add to a couple of sections. But typically everything is, an hour and a half, 2 hours, maybe at the max is going to be your oral.
Yeah. I think we were talking about this before we recorded, and we said that we are not trying to teach as much as we are trying to get you to think. Okay. So a lot of people want us to teach this, teach that, and who knows?
I'm sure we will.
Yeah, we will. We're not really sure the direction of this, but if we can get people discussing things, if we can get people down in the break room of the flight school or whatever, in the hangar of the flight school, to talk about scenarios where maybe another student has never thought about it before. I think it's win. We all win when we think about things like that. Chair flying, hangar talk. So that's our goal. We want to make safer pilots. And again, please hit subscribe down there. Tell your friends about us. Here's our emails up on the screen. Wally at Checkride Chat or Jason at CheckrideChat.com. If you comment within the videos on YouTube or whatever platform you're looking at this, that's fine. You're probably not going to get a response from us via that, but if you do want a response, email us directly, and I guarantee we will get back to you. Anything else?
No, that's it. We will see you all next time. We'll send in what you want us to talk about.
Yeah.
Whether it's ACS, yes, we'll probably teach some stuff, but generic questions too. Just send them in, and we'll be glad to answer.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you next time. Bye.